तिनक धिन धागे न 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 तिनक धिन. Every day I wake I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling a side of the story. Here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good of them assets, good of my bad. Get for the cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a flash from the past. We on the smash, be prepared to hit the gas, yeah. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe.
Communities right now look the way they look because of us. My biggest thing for us right now as men is for us to understand that our communities right now look the way they look because of us. There's not one politician that we need to blame for the way our communities look. There's nobody that's going to help us fix our communities but ourselves. We are using politicians right now to cope with our inability to actually affect our own communities. Our communities are only going to be fixed by us. Joe Biden is not the reason that your community looks the way it looks. You are. And Trump is not going to come save our communities. We are. We have to fix our communities on our own. And I always say that every man should be responsible for at least one child that's not his. I believe if every man in this room were to go back to their communities and actually try and affect it, we'd actually make some changes in our areas. We'd actually make some changes for our country instead of blaming and giving money to politicians who keep promising the same old things over and over again, and we're expecting our communities to change.
Peace to the party. Hold on, let me get right, man. It's your homeboy back again with the news. Yeah, man, we got another special show for y'all. As you see in the title, got Lee Cummings pulling through, Matt coming. We're going to talk about the 13 colonies, get to these eyewitnesses, right? But leading up to that, you know how we do. We're going to hit a little bit of the current events. I'm going to hit y'all with some news real quick. And it's in line with what we're going to be talking about today. Because truthfully, in our country right now, whether you white, black, whatever your ideology is, as a whole, our American history, our knowledge of American history is lacking, bro. It just is what it is. And a good example of that is Project 2025. I don't know if any of y'all heard about it, but a couple of days ago, it was going crazy on my Facebook. So I still be in the hood, man. I still be on Facebook, right? I see people, they going crazy, talking about Trump finna use Project 2025 and he about to take us to the Hitler regime, all kind of crazy stuff. So, you know, I had to go do my research before I come bring it to the people, right? Now, the document 900 some pages long. So I didn't get to go all the way through it. I read about a quarter of it because I got sidetracked by going to investigate the people that was writing it, the actual foundation behind it, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So knowing that we're going to talk about the 13 colonies, the establishment of America, and who these people were, we got to highlight civics real quick, right? So for those of y'all who don't know what Project 2025 is, it's basically a plan written by a large group of people. Over 100 different institutions and organizations were involved in helping write this. But I found somebody who give a great breakdown of some of the key points. So we're going to hit that real quick, and then I'm going to show y'all who behind it, and we're going to hit on a couple of key points before we pass the mic on. So like we always do, we finna take it to the other side, see what's up, and then we're going to come chop it up.
Have you heard about Project 2025? Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman and welcome back to Illustrate to Educate. In this video, we'll dive into everything you need to know about Project 2025, including 5 criticisms. Remember, if you disagree with Project 2025 or its criticisms, please don't dislike the video, but instead respectfully comment your thoughts below. Project 2025, led by the Heritage Foundation, is a comprehensive initiative designed to prepare for a potential conservative administration starting in January 2025. It is structured around four main pillars: policy development, personnel recruitment, training, and strategic planning for the early days of the new administration. Here's a more detailed breakdown of each component. First, let's look at the policy agenda. The Conservative Promise is a detailed policy guide that provides specific recommendations for governing major federal agencies. The guide encompasses conservative solutions to various issues, including economic policies, healthcare, education, and national security. It is intended to serve as a blueprint for the next conservative administration, ensuring that key conservative values and strategies are implemented effectively from the outset. The second pillar is the personnel database. Project 2025 includes a comprehensive personnel database aimed at identifying and vetting potential appointees for various positions within the federal government. This database seeks to ensure that a future conservative administration has a pool of qualified, ideologically aligned individuals ready to fill key roles. The recruitment efforts span across different sectors and backgrounds, targeting experienced professionals who can execute the administration's agenda efficiently. The third part is the training through the Presidential Administration Academy. To prepare the identified personnel for their roles, Project 2025 has established the Presidential Administration Academy. This academy offers a range of training programs including workshops, seminars, online courses, and mentorship from former administration officials. The training is designed to equip future administrators with the necessary skills and knowledge to implement conservative policies effectively. Fourth is the 180-day playbook. The 180-day playbook is a strategic document outlining the immediate actions to be taken by the new administration within the first 180 days. This playbook is crafted to enable swift policy reversals and the implementation of conservative priorities, ensuring a smooth and impactful start. It includes specific actions for various departments and agencies, focusing on undoing the policies of the previous administration and setting the stage for long-term conservative governance. Now let's talk about the coalition and organizational structure. Project 2025 is supported by a coalition of over 100 conservative organizations, including think tanks, advocacy groups, and academic institutions. This broad coalition brings together diverse expertise and resources to support the project's goals. Notable participants include former officials from the Trump administration who contribute their experience and insights to the project. There are specific policy focus areas in Project 2025. Project 2025 proposes significant changes to federal policies on reproductive health. These include removing references to abortion from federal laws and regulations, reversing the approval of abortion pills, and defunding clinics that provide abortion or contraception services. The initiative also aims to reinstate the Comstock Act to ban mail-order abortions and reshape Medicaid to avoid funding reproductive health care services that include abortion. Another focus area is cultural and social issues. The project emphasizes the restoration of traditional family values and religious principles. This includes opposing policies perceived as supporting cultural Marxism and promoting a pro-life agenda. It advocates for policies that support the nuclear family, religious liberty, and traditional gender roles. There's also the leadership of Project 2025, which is directed by Paul Dans, a former chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management during the Trump administration, with Spencer Sherteen serving as associate director. Both bring extensive experience from their previous roles in government, contributing to the strategic planning and execution of the project. So what are the criticisms of Project 2025? Project 2025 has sparked significant criticism from various sources.
Big time. So let's hear the criticism. We're going to chop it up.
Critics argue that the project embodies a comprehensive plan to centralize executive power, erode democratic norms, and enforce a far-right agenda on American governance and society. Let's take a look at 5 specific criticisms in more detail. First is the centralization of executive power. One major criticism is that Project 2025 seeks to expand presidential control over the federal bureaucracy. The plan includes reviving the Schedule F classification, which would allow the president to replace thousands of civil service employees with political appointees loyal to the administration. Critics argue this would undermine the nonpartisan nature of the civil service and politicize federal agencies, making them tools of the executive branch rather than independent entities. Second is the attack on democratic institutions. Critics highlight that Project 2025's blueprint includes proposals to dismantle or weaken key democratic institutions. This includes plans to defund the Department of Justice and dismantle the FBI and other agencies that could act as checks on presidential power. Such moves are seen as efforts to undermine the rule of law and enable the executive branch to operate with little oversight or accountability. Third, the project also faces criticism for its potential use of government power to target political opponents and critics. There are fears that it would enable the executive to pursue legal action against political adversaries and critical media outlets, drawing parallels to authoritarian regimes where dissent is suppressed through state mechanisms. The fourth criticism is the social and cultural agenda. Project 2025's policy agenda includes strong positions on social issues, promoting conservative values that critics argue could roll back rights and protections for various groups. The document outlines plans to restrict LGBTQ+ rights, enforce strict anti-abortion measures, and integrate Christian nationalist principles into government policy. This agenda has raised concerns about the erosion of civil liberties and the imposition of a particular religious and ideological framework on the entire nation. Lastly is the environmental and climate policy rollbacks. The project's stance on environmental regulations is contentious. It proposes significant rollbacks of climate policies, which critics argue would have detrimental effects on efforts to combat climate change and protect the environment.
All right, so let's chop it up now. You listen to the video, okay? You hear the basic foundation of what's being said. Now, scratch out the people that are writing it, because understand that the people that are writing this are not in power, right? This is not the ruling authority who is making this. It's not like the current administration. This is their plan. Now, this is a foundation that doesn't really have, well, I won't say they don't have ties to politics, because I'm about to show you they got a deep history in what they've been doing, but you got to always analyze the source, right? So this is just their ideas, this group of people on what they think. But if we just scratch away the whole conservative situation, because over here we autonomous, we not promoting Democrat or Republican, we promoting being informed, right? And because no matter who you vote for, somebody's going to be in charge in all of these different positions, and they're going to do things on somebody's behalf, and it need to be the ones who they taking the tax dollars from. But that's a whole nother story, right? So we talking civics, right? We talking about being informed. So we had to go look these people up, man. The Heritage Foundation. So let's go to the source of this and see let's hear from what people say about them, the history and how this all came to be. Because anytime you go into a current event, you got to go look at the history and what led up to what's going on, because it's always a backstory, man. It's always a backstory. So hold on, let me pull this up on screen 3. And we're going to do a little reading real quick. Pull these folks up on the wiki and do a quick little breakdown. All right, so check it out. So Heritage Foundation, sometimes simply referred to as Heritage, is an activist American conservative think tank based in Washington, D.C., founded in 1973. It took a leading role in the conservative movement in the 1980s during the presidency of Ronald Reagan, whose policies were taken from Heritage Foundation studies, including its mandate for leadership. The Heritage Foundation has had significant influence in U.S. public policy making. It has historically been ranked among the most influential public policy organization in the United States. In 2010, it founded a sister organization, Heritage Action, an influential activist force in conservative and Republican politics. They say in the early years, the Heritage Foundation was founded on February 16 of 73 during the Nixon administration by Paul Weyrich, Edwin Fulner, and Joseph Coors, buddy with the beer. So growing out of the new business activist movement inspired by the Powell Memorandum, discontent with Richard Nixon's embrace of the liberal consensus and the neo-polemical cautious nature of existing think tanks, Weyrich and Fulner sought to create a conservative version of the Brookings Institution that advanced conservative policies. In its early years, Coors was the Heritage Foundation's primary funding source. Wayrich was the foundation's first president. Later, under Wayrich's successor, Frank J. Walton, the Heritage Foundation began using direct mail fundraising, which contributed to the growth of its annual income, which reached $1 million in 1976. By 1981, the annual budget grew to $5.3 million. All right. So I want y'all to see something. So this is just, I had to go do my research with the party. We went and tried to roll these folks' sleeves up to see what the people that we just named, right? To show you what they had going on. But truthfully, it seems just like with the black story, right? The white story is not a one size fits all. You got different sides. You got different people with different sides in this whole fight, right? So now we're doing our research is more of the Anglo-Saxon type of situation, which is different from the Jewish community, right? It's really as if these two at odds. So a lot of times you see these smoke screens between Democrat and Republican, but you got people who are working in certain communities that's on both sides, putting out propaganda. And basically what I'm getting at is this is a think tank that already got ties in the political community. Next thing you know, they attaching this to Trump as if Trump is saying, hey, I'm trying to come be a dictator, take all your rights away. People forget we did have Buddy as a president before. I want a so-called black person to come tell me what type of policies was put in place to hold us back when Trump was in office. Was he trying to take our rights away as black people? Like, come on, bro, let's keep it a buck. It ain't like before when he wasn't the president. We ain't have a sample size to judge him off of. So we not telling you to go either way, but it is suspicious they're trying to attach this to him when we already know some of the people in the Republican Party don't even rock with bro. Like they ain't rocking with the Teflon Don, bro. But here, what I want to show you is these folks that mess with both sides, Democrat and Republican. They was involved in the Clinton administration. They got George W. Bush. So anybody, basic politics, them two on the opposite sides. So why is they in this same supposed to be conservative group? Did they feel like Clinton was a conservative? So you got to always question and examine what's really going on, man. And for those of y'all, I put it in here. I put it in the chat. So for anybody coming to view this later or you here now, if you want to read it for yourself, it's here for you. Because on the website, I got to go. We just want to read the information, see what we're talking about. There are core tenets that they got in here that I agree with. I read about all the way down to the Department of Justice, right? But like I said, it's 900 pages, so it's a lot of different ones. But the key ones that I agree with right off the bat was the Department of Education. So I want to read this one to y'all real quick. We should have Lee Cummings pulling up here in a few. And we're going to build on this for a second. Make it a little bit bigger for those coming in after. So this is the Department of Education. This is what they wrote about. Now, mind you, they had hundreds of people collaborate on this. People from all facets of life. You got some lawyers in here. You got people who, it's not just politicians. It's more than politicians, actually. But so I'm going to read this to you from the Department of Education. This is what they wrote about. They said the mission. Federal education policy should be limited, and ultimately the Federal Department of Education should be eliminated. When power is exercised, it should empower students and families, not government. In our pluralistic society, families and students should be free to choose from a diverse set of school options and learning environments that best fit their needs. Our post-secondary institution should also reflect such diversity, with room for not only traditional liberal arts colleges and research universities, but also faith-based institutions, career schools, military academies, and lifelong learning programs. Elementary and secondary education policy should follow the path outlined by Milton Friedman in 1955, where education is publicly funded, but education decisions are made by families. Ultimately, every parent should have the option to direct his or her child's share of education funding through an education savings account, ESA, funded overwhelmingly by state and local taxpayers, which would empower parents to choose a set of education options that meet their child's unique needs. So just in this one alone, it started pointing out different things, how the budget has been mismanaged within these schools. They're already getting the tax dollars. So whether you agree with going to public school or private school, I'm sure you would agree that you want to have your own choice on where you send your kids. I mean, I would think that's just common sense. Like I say, remove the people behind it. If you just heard that message, if it was a black person that came and said that to you, would you listen to what's being said? That's all we're trying to get to. So over here, we just challenging y'all to be informed, man. Before you have an outrageous opinion and you just all in your feelings, at least read it for yourself and say, okay, this is why I disagree. Because you ain't got to agree. I don't agree with everything they got in there, but I can't sit here and lie and say I didn't read certain things that did make a lot of sense to me, bro. I'm just keeping it real. So this is why we got to get more involved with American history as a whole, because we're more in tune with the story than what we've been told as the black community. This is why we got Lee Cummings. We got Matt coming through. We're going to build on this today and talk about the 13 black colonies, right, in the Eyewitnesses account to show you why we need to be more in tune with the American story, because it's really our story. You feel me? So with that being said, I'm finna hit us with a little commercial real quick. We got Lee Cummings then pulled up in the back. We got Mac here. So the next voices you hear will be the whole crew. But we're going to go to commercial real quick, and we'll be right back.
Niggas, the top 5 lister, double S drifter, separate sipping, and you know I came with it if she cute.
Do.
Yeah, check. Let's get to it, man. Max say he ready. Hold on, let me get him up in here. Yeah.
What's popping, y'all? Peace to the
Yes,
party.
sir.
What's
We
poppin'?
got Lee too. We're gonna go and bring you up. Hold on, Lee. There you go. What's up with you?
Man, trying to get it, man.
Yes,
Word
sir.
up.
Glad to have you again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good to be back.
Oh man, let me tell you, man, Lee. I've been digging. I've been looking for things since you told me about this title right here. This eyewitness account. I know you got the drop, so I don't know. Before we go all the way in on it, though, it was something interesting in just history. And Monte, you just got through talking about American history. You know what I'm saying? How important it is. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And obviously, this series that Arthur Lee Cummings has put out has obviously shaken up what we think to be real history and what really is real history. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And a lot of people put the slave trade on the European colonies, but don't really put a name on which colony did it. You know what I'm saying? And make an assumption because of 1619 that it's automatically tied, and it just say Europeans. Like you don't really know who is involved with what. You know what I mean? I think that's something that we're gonna have to get more down to. I just want to, and I think Lee Cummings' series has done a lot of that. By the way, so peace to everybody that's in the chat. It's a Q&A. The eyewitnesses of the 13 black colonies, or the black 13 colonies. So shout out to everybody that pulled up for it. Tap in with us.
Shout out to
Salute
you,
Dre.
Drake.
Yeah, Miss Sherry. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Peace to you. Hope all is well. Lee, is there anything you want to go into first with this
Nah,
topic
man.
for tonight?
I'm gonna see what you do.
You gonna see what I do? You trying to wait for me to pull up? So
yeah, I'm ready.
Well, for one, just on Sunday we were talking about William Penn. I think a lot of people got, especially from the last show, and I know we're going to show it again tonight, the Benjamin Franklin piece. And obviously, I would like for you like to call it the three wise men. You know what I'm saying? The three wise men. So the three wise men, three wise men for everybody out there is Benjamin Franklin, William Penn, and Thomas Jefferson. Right? Those are the three wise men that we want to specifically talk about being eyewitnesses to what your series, such as the Swarthy Memoirs. I keep this one out for some reason. I love this joint. That people really need to be more informed about. So these eyewitnesses, like I said, Benjamin Franklin is the popular one. The observations of 1751 is crazy. It's heat, and then it's a lot of other joints that I kind of think that we want to get to, being that everybody's going to keep saying, "Oh, you keep saying the same guy. Give me somebody else," because we still got people tripping about the Swarthy thing. By the way,
yeah.
Oh, I got
people
something
still tripping about the Swarthy
let's
thing.
do this. All right, then the first thing we do, let's do this. You got Swarthy Memoirs out, so let's give the people a definition of Swarthy from 1788. Go to page 115 of part 7. Page 115 of part 7. See, we're not going to deal with the word Swarthy from the year 2024. We're going to deal with the word Swarthy within 30 years of Benjamin Franklin's declaration that all of Europe was swarthy or black. You see on page 115 where it says Samuel Johnson's dictionary.
Hold on, you said on 150 or 115?
115.
115.
Page
On 115. Yeah, on 115 I got, well, right before it says the Black German Baron von Steuben.
You should be on one. Let me see. You should be on.
That's the picture I got.
You should be on page
That's
115.
Yeah, I'm on 115 though.
Oh, you know what? That's my fault. I'm tripping. We're in the dictionary, the Negro Question Dictionary.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I got the dictionary. I can grab it.
For all of y'all don't know, that is, I'm the first African American to publish a dictionary in the United States. The Negro Question Dictionary is the first. There was nobody before me, so it's going to be a bunch of them coming after me. Y'all remember, I was the first. Now check this out. What we're doing tonight is we're going to give you a definition of the word swarthy in the year 1788. Benjamin Franklin made his comment that America, France, Italy, Russia, Spain, Germany, Sweden, Asia, and Africa were all swarthy in 1751. 37 years later, this brother by the name of Samuel Johnson published a dictionary, 1788. You got your dictionary?
I got the page 150.
No, page 115.
Oh, 115 is right. See, I'm mixing myself up.
And you're going to see the sub where it says Samuel Johnson English Dictionary. On page 115.
Okay, 115, I'm there.
You see it?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it says Samuel Johnson's English Dictionary, 1788. And it says,
go ahead. It gives a definition of swarthy.
Right, I'm going to go ahead and read it. It's going to say, this is the eyewitness account of Professor Boyd Dawkins and Benjamin Franklin. 700 years after Anglo-Saxons invaded Europe, the Negroes were still the rulers.
Okay, but I want to go up. No, I want to go up. You see where it says swarth.
Oh, okay, my bad, right there. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay, so you want me to read that part?
Yeah.
Okay, that's more like that's just really more of a well, shoot.
We
could have probably pulled that up.
That is, yeah, but that is this dictionary, these definitions came straight from this book from 1788.
Okay.
See, the critical component here, the critical component in this conversation is not how me and you feel about the word swarthy. We want them to see what was the definition of the word swarthy 30 years after Benjamin Franklin said all of Europe was black or swarthy. So it says right here, it says swarthy, darkly brown, tawny. It says to swart, to blacken, swarthily, blackly, darkly, duskly, or tawny, swarthiness, darkness complexion, or black. So the English, the definition of swarthy 31 years after Benjamin Franklin said that all of Europe and America and France and Italy, Russia, Spain, all of it was swarthy. The description and the definition is what? They was black.
Right. That's the KO. Yeah.
This is but this is what's critical. You don't want the definition of 2024.
Correct.
You don't want the definition of the year 1900.
Right.
You want to come within. You want to come as close as you can come
to that time.
You feeling me on this, G?
Yeah.
So now we are within what? We are within 30 years of Benjamin Franklin's declaration that all of Europe was swarthy. And the definition is what? They was black. So Benjamin Franklin wasn't the only one that believed that. So did Samuel Johnson. Incredible, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
So that is just the beginning of the drama. Before we even get into the so-called three wise men, and one of them is black, William Penn is a brother, I want to deal with a timeline leading up to our subject tonight. Can we do that?
Of course, it's on you.
Let's go to page, I think it's 113. Back up to page 113. Let's see what I got on
same book, the dictionary. We're dealing with the dictionary, right?
We're in the dictionary, right? We're in the Negro Question Dictionary, y'all. If you ain't got it, you need to get it. We're dealing with the Negro Question Dictionary. Now we're on page 113. Now, we're going to deal with the time. Now, I'm going to pull a timeline out for you to show you. These white folks.
Oh, you want to show this?
They couldn't, and from the year 4, when they came into Europe, they couldn't read or write. That was, and they didn't learn how to read or write until almost 600 years later. So we're going to read you something from the Dictionary of the English Language, 1788, by Samuel Johnson, page 1. What was the form of the Anglo-Saxons language when about 450 AD they entered Britain? No one knows the answer. They seem to have been a people without learning and without an alphabet. They didn't have an alphabet. That's the reason why they were called barbarians. That's why when you brothers and sisters that are out there that refuse to go to school, refuse to read books, you have been reduced to a barbaric state. Their speech always being cursory and extemporaneous must have been artless without any modes of transition or involution clauses. Why? You can't have transition if you don't have vowels. With abruptness and connection can be seen in their earlier writings. This barbarity seemingly continued during their wars with the Britons. The wars left them no room for studies. This continued to 570 AD. So we started out in 450 AD when the barbarians invaded England and Britain. So from 450 AD, they couldn't read or write. 570 AD, they still couldn't read or write. This continued to 570 AD until Augustine came from Rome to convert them to Christianity. After 300 years, 900 AD, the Anglo-Saxons or the white barbarians learned enough to express themselves like a civilized people. So all the way up to 450 AD, they didn't have an alphabet. They couldn't read or write. They don't start speaking a language until 900 AD. So let's round it off to 1000 AD. This is the year 2024. They have only been speaking a known language. The Anglo-Saxons are the whites in America, y'all. I want you to fact check me. They only been reading, and they only been able to read, write, and speak for 1,000 years. We've been reading, writing, and speaking for 6,000 years. I want you to wrap your mind around these numbers, man. We could have called this White History Month. But it's not about race. This is simply the truth. So this is the foundation for the remarks that Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and William Penn are going to be making in this presentation tonight. This is a hell of a foundation, ain't it?
Oh yeah.
Let's get it.
Who were the first people to read according to the linguist, the ancient Sumerians? What were they called? They were called the black-headed people by Sargon the Great. It is an accepted fact that the black Sumerians were the first ones to read, write. They invented the wheel, the sexagesimal system, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, the 360 degrees. Dentistry, the first operations, the whole nine. That was 6,000 years ago. We had world empires. These people couldn't read, write, or speak a language. That's why they hate you so much. Because if this ever gets out, it changes everything.
Oh yeah, big time.
Black History Month ain't the same no more, is it?
And we got some questions popping up already, though.
Go ahead. Let's go to
get the questions before you get to the three wise men.
That's why we're here. Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Okay. What's the first question?
Let me read it out loud for the playback. So it say, which book in your series explains the most about the eyewitnesses of the 13 Black Colonies?
Hey, listen. I designed these books to be taught to be used together. They take the idea was to take the reader from one consciousness to the next. Levels of consciousness, like we call levels of truth. Part 2, which is African slave ships that came from Judah. Part 2, Part 4, Part 6, and Part 7 are supposed to be used together. But if you start at the first book, Who Am I, and work your way through the series, I consciously take your mind. God was with me when I wrote this series because I ain't been able to duplicate it since. I'll be sitting down like, how can I do this again? Yeah. I consciously take your mind up from the bottom step to the middle step to the top step, and I drop you off. I drop you off in this big old soup called truth. So yeah. I would start at the first book and work my way through the entire series. So look. Okay, next question.
We got a next question.
Oh, yeah, hold on. It say, if the British didn't bring the West Africans, then who did?
Okay, I got a question for you, Sister Flood. And I want you to answer this right quick. We're gonna give you a shot at it first. The British did not buy the slave lands until 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase. Before the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, the British owned 0 states in the South. So if the British didn't own any other slave states in the South, you tell me. I'm going to give you a shot at it first.
Wait, you said the British didn't own? Right. You said the British didn't own no slave states?
They didn't own none of the slave states till 1803. With the Louisiana.
What about Georgia? 1735.
They didn't own that. Well, the thing was, remember, Georgia was not a slave state until 1751, 1752. So slavery only existed in Georgia for about 115 years, not 400 years as the white historians, they be lying. Y'all feel me?
I do you one better though, because truthfully, because technically you can say some of these so-called states was slave states that they had, but the way to dispute that is they ain't have enough people. They ain't have enough people to enslave folks.
No, that's not how it went. Y'all, that's why I get down with y'all. Y'all shocked. You got to go back and look and see when those states when did they begin? They divided the states up. Remember, some of the northern part of a particular state, like Carolina.
Yeah. That's why I was saying it
Carolina,
was small area. It ain't what we know
right.
these areas to be
So
today.
what the white historian did was, instead of saying, hey, they went down and they took the southern part of Carolina in 1800 and turned, or 1850 and turned it into a slave state. They said the whole shebang was a slave state.
Right.
But you got to remember,
not true. Yeah.
You got to remember, the thing that's the foundation for slavery is the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
The British had the Magna Carta. It stated that England did not recognize the institution of slavery as old as 900 AD. So to answer, the sister didn't chime back in. Yes, so let me answer you. It was the Portuguese, the Spaniards, and the Dutch. But what color? What color were the Portuguese? What color were the Spaniards? And what color were the Dutch? According to Benjamin
dark-skinned folks.
it was what?
Dark-skinned people. Yeah, that part.
Why did the black Europeans enslave the black Africans? It was based on what? Religion.
Yeah, they were beefing.
The states that I mentioned, I want you to hear this and fact check me if you're out there. The Pope issued a papal bull called the Dum Diversa, 1450, that stated if you was not a Catholic, your lands could be confiscated, you could be enslaved.
It's up.
So these black Europeans enslaved anybody that was not a Catholic.
Correct.
And so they turned the history books white. They made the slave masters white. Hey, listen to me. I want you to hear me real good. Y'all know how we treat each other. I ain't got to make this
banging.
Up. We fam.
Hey, we been banging on each other.
Right. We fam, right? What does fam do? Fam mistreat fam. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
You know what? Since you said that,
huh?
Since you said that, I'm gonna send something to Monte real quick.
All right.
And you said the Dutch, the Portuguese, and the French.
And no, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and the Spanish.
Spain.
And the French. And the French.
Right. I want to add the French too, because they all have something in common. They all tied to the Roman Catholic Church.
Right.
Right. And you the one that kind of, I'm being honest, you're the one that showed me to make me look into this distinction that you're making inside this series, that the King James the Sixth, and then called the first, was the King of Scotland.
There you go, bro.
And that Scotland united, even though it wasn't considered the Parliament united, but he's the first king of England. But he brought the two kingdoms together underneath his.
He was a don. He was like a don. You know what I mean?
Right. And so the Stuarts.
Go ahead.
No, but he's tied to the Stuart house, the House of the Stuarts.
House of Stuart. That's right.
And when we walk back and start looking into like how people talk about genealogy and stuff, we started going through it and like, hold on, something ain't adding up. So the House of the Stuarts that are underneath King James and what they got going on, they're not doing everything that everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? So in this link real quick, the slave trade, I got this from Montclair State University real quick. And you can go down real quick there where I think it says, go to the slave trade part. And then after that, I want to
make it bigger.
Okay.
I don't know. What you think? Go ahead. It's your
call. Why won't let me do it?
Yeah, I think I got it though.
You say go to the slave trade?
Yeah, go right there. You can start right there.
Yeah.
Right there. All right. So as you said, the Dutch though, and I want some people just in historical American history that basically New Amsterdam is tied to what we call today New York, is tied to the Dutch East India Company. You know what I mean? And when we were reading this situation, matter of fact, and it is kind of small, but still, it says by 1650, slavery was praised by the company director, Peter Stuyvesant. That's like Bed-Stuy, you know what I mean, for your New Yorkers out there. You know what I'm saying? So, I lost my spot right there.
I'm trying to, you did up.
Okay, there it is. His name is Director Peter Stuyvesant, who noted that these Negro slaves had offered a great relief in the purchase of the provision of the garrison. We have a great need of a few slaves in order to struck them for provisions. It says in 1660, Stuyvesant called for additional slaves. They ought to be stout and strong fellows, fit for immediate employment of this fortress. and other works also, if required, in war against the wild barbarians, either to pursue them when retreating or else to carry some of the soldiers' baggage. Later, the governor indicated that the new shipment of slaves was necessary to procure provisions and all sorts of timber work, fix ox cart, and new rose mill. But all that right there, similarity authorities in Amsterdam wrote to Stuyvesant in 1660. Now, again, it says agriculture would be beneficially promoted by Negroes, and the advancement thereof is of great importance. So, and this is all tied to New Amsterdam. This reason why I'm bringing this up because we're realizing that the Duke of York, who's tied to the House of the Stuarts, didn't take over New York, what we call it today, until 1664, and that the Dutch were the first ones in that area as what we call European colonies. You know what I'm saying?
They got ran out, but you got to.
And they did. Now go down. Matter of fact, go down real quick.
It wasn't
right. It's going to be here.
The Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, and they were all over the 13 colonies. Everybody has to stay. That's where you got the wars. When you pick up your history book, you see everybody fighting because they was fighting to see who was going to have supremacy over the continent.
That part. Now, after this, I'm gonna let you slide back in. I want to add this because when I came across this, actually looking for stuff dealing when this came up, and then you brought up the Dutch. I'm like, that's right in time. So, obviously the West India Company, 1640s and all that in the first paragraph. So anybody that don't know too, New Jersey was actually a municipality tied to New Amsterdam. So the Dutch, and you can go down to the next paragraph. I want to get to the swarthy term that's in this document tied to. It's in that paragraph right there. Here we go. All right, so by 1660, New Amsterdam was considered the most important slave port in North America. At least 400 slaves came into the city for sale between 1660 and 1664, primarily brought through Curacao. But by 1664, a tax list for New Amsterdam showed that approximately 1 out of 8 citizens of the colony owned enslaved Africans. In 1664, we see that the agriculture was the focus. After England took control of New Amsterdam same year, a captured cargo was in inventory showing 200 slaves designated to be employed solely in agriculture, which is the only means by which the state can be rendered flourishing. The slaves must be sold to our inhabitants on express conditions that they will not be taken out of our district. You can slide down more. So that right there pointed to what you said about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because remember, it was illegal for England to have slaves. That and the earliest document or court case that supports that is the Cartwright case, and that's the reason why when you pick up your history books and you see the brothers coming on them Jacobite ships, the prison ships, they come in as indentured servants because they couldn't come as slaves. There was no such thing as slavery in the 13 colonies.
Right. Matter of fact, and since you said that, go slide down, Monte. Now I want you to see this part. I found it as universe. Don't move too fast because I don't remember what paragraph. In my eyes, y'all should know already. All right. No, Dutch reform. Keep going down. It's gonna use the word swarthy, Stuyvesant.
Okay.
I don't know if you can find it on the page because that might be faster, but I think it's down in this area where other free people of color moved. It was in the paragraph where we talked about the particular tribe that actually took over ransacked the colony in 1630s, and basically the Africans are being described as swarthy and Moorish within this document. And I wanted the people to see it real quick. There it is. Boom. So in that paragraph, thank you. It's going to say in that paragraph, I'm going to read that paragraph right there. Pavonia was short-lived as it was in consistent conflict with the Wampanoag Native Americans who finally destroyed the settlement and had it wrong, 1643. It says, one has to wonder what came of the enslaved Africans during, what's that? Is underneath it? It's blocked.
Oh, it's there. See?
Oh, okay, during and after these raids. And if any were able to escape their bondage by fleeing with Native Americans, nevertheless, Dutch settlers persisted and eventually secured a foothold strong enough for Bergen, present-day New Jersey City, to be recognized as the first municipality in New Jersey in 1661. It says, among these living in Pavonia, a 19th century historian Charles Winfield noted that it is said that among the soldiers of Governor Stuyvesant who were given land upon retirement were transplanted to Bergen were some of the Moorish race whose peculiar complexion, physiognomy, and characteristics are, it is alleged, yet to be traced in their descendants, the swarthy complexion, the sharp eye, the curling black hair, so opposite to the ruddy color. You see that part right there?
Yeah, but check
They're
this
letting
out.
us know
But
that
King,
Moorish people are swarthy Negro before. Go ahead.
yeah, but King James took over the colony in 1664, and slavery was eliminated. So all we simply saying to you is, I don't care what these Gentiles or these white professors are saying at these major institutions, and even documents like this. See, the issue that the problem that they have is that the original Magna Carta is what spells out and the original charters. They spell out the original intention of the plantations by these black kings. It was not slavery. So it's not my fault that there was an institution of slavery in a particular state or colony when I took over. But the first thing we did was we eliminated it. So the black kings of Europe were not involved in the slave trade. So what does the white scholars do? Since the whites came in and raped the women, destroyed nations and the civilized Indian nations, they merged two different rulerships together and said, hey, it was one rulership. No. The foundation of the rulership in the north in the 13 colonies was black. But after we lost Europe, then the next thing we lost was the 13 colonies. And when the whites came in, they merged their history was up with ours to make it seem like King James was a barbarian.
I got an alley-oop there for you.
Right, you feel me? King Charles then was barbarians. No.
Look at this question here. It say, how did the Anglo-Saxons come to power over the 13 colonies?
You know what? What do we do every time we got something real good? We rolling. Everything is sweet. We got palm trees. We got people playing. We got musicians. It's love. What do? We turn on each other. Mm-hmm. So the Civil War was really a black on black war. It was the black slave masters in the South versus the black free Negroes in the North. And what happened was, after we killed each other, the white immigrants or the white barbarians, they came flooding in the 13 and the millions. You got to understand, at that particular point in time, sister, it was anywhere from 3 to 5 million people in the colonies. Well, Italy sent 10 million barbarians into the colonies. And they came. I think the total was over 100 million white people. They flooded the colonies. First thing they did was, when they flooded the colonies, you couldn't vote unless you owned an ox, a goat, or a piece of land. Then they enacted the gun laws, where you couldn't have a gun as a black settler, colonist. It's a wrap after that. They've been doing the same laws. She says, Razel Dazel. The Magna Carta outlined that there was no slavery in the colony, but who inherited it? Can Mr. Lee repeat that? Well, the 13 colonies, sister, the inheritors of the 13 colonies, it is written in the original charters that those colonies were supposed to pass on to the original people. Like, it was like, say, Carolina had 50 men and women that came over to colonize. It was theirs. And so the kings made a stipulation that they could pass the colonies on to their family members as heirs. So that's why a Gentile, Anglo-Saxon asked me, well, they said, you Negroes want reparation. I said, no, I want 13 states. But that's based on the charters. The charters state They know this. That's why after a while they started writing little stuff in their history books that they bought Carolina from the Indians, that they bought Georgia from the Indians. They
had to do business. They had no choice.
G, they ain't got no documents though.
Yeah.
They was taking signatures from the Winehead Indian. He wasn't even a chief.
Right.
They just took a signature from anybody, and they were saying, we bought these lands.
That's why it's way bigger than that. That's why when we connect in history, you know, we coming from definitely knowing our Indian side as well. So when you put it together, you got the true Americans, and then you got indigenous mix that's here. So it's way even bigger than the 13 states. That's just crazy.
But check this out. But you got the $5 white Indian.
Yeah.
Can I say that again? You got the $5 white Indian living on these lands talking about he's Indian. No, you not. The history books teach that you pay the $5 poll tax to reclassify yourself as an American Indian. So,
it's crazy.
So answer the sister. I want to read just a summation for Dazelle. The inheritors are in the original charters. So all you got to do is go look at one of the charters from any state that you want, and you'll see who the heirs are. They all listed. Ain't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. They was on that paperwork. This is what they did in Europe.
Let me ask you a question, bro. You was in school. Did anybody ever break out a charter and read it to you? That wasn't even part of your homework, was it?
No.
Never.
I don't even think I ever heard it ever mentioned.
Man,
Doctrine of Discovery, Papal Bull, none of that stuff. None of that stuff.
They ain't never, they taught their little history. They stayed away from the charters. And some of the charters had images of Black King Charles on it. The original charter. You know they wasn't going to break that out. All 13, Bella. Real talk.
Yeah.
Run that. He said that last time. Run that.
Run that. All 13, sister. And each one of the charters will tell you what king sent the brothers down. They sent the crew. They sent some soldiers. They sent cooks. They sent engineers. They sent some ministers. It's real, man. Let me tell you something. Maybe you ever heard somebody tell a story and they say, it's too good. I can't make this up.
No, you can't make this up because you ain't none of these people. I want to leave. Even though you watch the Three Wise Men, because we didn't even get to that part yet, see? But Boyd Dawkins, you use him a lot. He should be that fourth guy. I don't know. I guess because he's not like a president or something.
Because they can't. Have you noticed? Now, we done did a couple of these. We ain't had one white scholar come on here yet, have we?
Man, they don't want to deal, man.
To say that the brothers lying. And we gonna hit y'all. We got
Hey, hold on, Lee. They be in the comments, though. On some of the comments after he put out clips, though. He put out clips. And they be like, y'all niggas ain't no Europeans. Ain't no, we used to be kings. That's what they saying now.
Hey, listen. I want y'all to hear this. They run the scam. They said, Benjamin Franklin said all of Africa was swarthy. Then he said all Asia was swarthy. So you know what the white man said? Jerusalem is not in Africa. Jerusalem is in Asia. So you know what I said? I don't care where you place Jerusalem. According to Benjamin Franklin, they were still black.
Period. Yep. Matter of fact, Boyd Dawkins on your page 114 in your dictionary.
Go ahead.
Boyd Dawkins, before you get to the three witnesses, because Benjamin Franklin's right after that. But it says on page 114, our earliest ancestors, page 96 through 97 out of his book. It says from 1879, eyewitness account. The original people of England, Britain, France, Spain, and Italy were a black people. And then in parentheses, it said Basque. And then it says, they were in England when our fathers invaded the land in the year 449 AD. Our fathers were a warlike people who by 607 AD had pushed the black, and it says again, / Basque, westward into Wales, Westmoreland, Devon, Scotland, Cumberland, and Cornwall. These black people wrote in their books that they were citizens of the Roman Empire Evidence of their civilization can be seen all over the continent of Europe, as well as throughout the British Isles, Germany, Spain, France, and Switzerland. Boy Dawkins, boy.
Listen, man. This is something that you failed to mention. The Dutch that was enslaving the Africans before King James II took over New York, they was black. So ain't nothing changed. Nothing changed. It was still black on black crime. Hey, let's go back. Let's go back to the question. We got any more questions?
Yeah. Anybody got questions before we go into the eyewitnesses?
Before we hit these up, before we hit the big guns. Any more questions or comments?
I think we hit them all right now. Let me see.
For right now, okay. Everybody, I guess they're waiting for us to give them that work. You know what I'm talking about?
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring the noise. Let's do since we already did Benjamin Franklin, let's do Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Go to page 255 of part 7. The Swarthy Memoir.
255.
255 of part 7. And we're gonna bring in Thomas Jefferson's eyewitness account. You remember, Thomas Jefferson was an ambassador to France.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
so
there.
Was Benjamin Franklin.
Right, but right now,
I know.
We want to bring in our guests. Okay.
Okay.
They've been sitting in that back room for a minute.
Yeah, they've been waiting.
All right, boom. Right, here you go. Here you go.
All right,
I'm gonna go ahead and make sure you see it.
You're on page. You got Thomas Jefferson on page 255 of the Swarthy Memoirs, part 7. So,
all right.
Actually, you can read it before you even do that. Read the piece on King Louis XIV of France.
Was that right before?
Yeah, that's right before. That's right on the same page, on page 250.
On the same page, right where it says King Louis of France, King's Body Location, Abbey of the Saint Denis, French National Museum and Monuments, King Louis. That's the 14th, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? 14th. Skin was so black that it looked like ink.
When they exhumed his body, after he died, his skin was so black they said it looked like ink. Now this King Louis, the King of France, King Louis XIV.
Yeah, Louisiana. Yeah.
Tell me that ain't cold.
Cold as ice. Right, right underneath it, right underneath it, the Memoirs of Thomas Jefferson, France. The storming of the Bastille. 60,000 Frenchmen of all colors. The King of France came to Paris, leaving the Queen in consternation for his return, omitting the less important figures of the procession. I will only observe that the King's carriage was in the center on each side of his state general, in 2 ranks of foot. At their head, the Marquis de la Fayette as commander-in-chief on horseback, and the Borghese guards before and behind. I witnessed 60,000 citizens, French citizens, and all of them, ad-libbing, all forms of color. So next page, keep going or stop? Okay.
No, stop. Who is the eyewitness? This is allegedly white American Thomas Jefferson, #1.
Right.
He said while he was in France, he was there when they cut off King Louis's head. Everybody knows this story, but they failed to put in the story that it was 60,000 biracial Frenchmen. Because he said he saw 60,000 Frenchmen of what? All colors.
And that's how it was, man. Yeah, all colors.
You hear that, G? I'm going to say that one more again. I'm not going to say it one more time. I'm going to say it one more again.
You got to understand it.
60,000 Frenchmen of what? All colors.
Mm-hmm.
The whites are beginning
all
to what?
Colors.
The whites are beginning to what? They making a move on black France now.
Getting in.
Remember, 1751, it was all swarthy.
Yeah.
But by the time that King Louis got his head cut off, now all of a sudden, you got this white element creeping into what? That has crept into France. And so let me see what year was that. What year
And while you're doing that, a lot of people don't understand that it was a mass migration of not only black people around the world, but white people too. They get ushered into these places that we didn't get out of.
That's 1789. That's right on our timeline.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember that fit the timeline. So right around 1789, 1790, the black nations are beginning to fall. See,
this is the switch.
Man, y'all see what's going on? So wait a minute. Now that's just Thomas Jefferson eyewitness account. Well, let's go see what William Penn had to say. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I got him on the next page. Go ahead. What page you want?
You got him at?
I mean, the next page is why when you told me to stop, I was gonna keep rolling. But I know you. I thought you wanted to stay with homeboy first.
Color issue.
Thomas Jefferson
first.
Thomas Jefferson. Who?
Go ahead. What you got?
Oh well, the next page, William Penn. It says, "Son, you will get older." But I think you got something better than this. But
yeah,
son,
that's
on the next page. Hey, no.
Yeah,
that's simple. I want you to give me something else.
I want you.
That you want to point out.
I want them to hear William Penn's eyewitness account of what the American Indian looked like, and the fact that the Europeans in Europe they were black. William Penn's gonna say this. I took this from his memoirs, and if anybody that's listening tonight, all the evidence that we're discussing, they were eyewitness accounts from these men's actual memoirs, not some cat that's writing a book in 2024. Right. Let's go to the Swarthy memoirs, page 218.
Okay,
page
hold on.
218.
Boy, giving y'all cliff notes tonight, y'all. Boy,
hey,
you got the series.
It's like Sunday service.
Pages. You know what I'm talking about? It's like Sunday service right now.
I had to actually sit down and go through my own work just to be ready.
But that's what I want to tell you something as somebody who read it though. When you said that you haven't come across another series like it, I think it's because you already written it, but now it's time to teach it. Like more people need to know what's going on behind it. And it's kind of what we're doing right here. You letting them know, and it's refreshing, you know what I'm saying? New points for you as well.
That's true. Now check this out. Now we're reading the memoirs. I mean, and for all you that don't understand what a memoir is,
break it down to them.
In Hebrew, it's called zakar, memory. But in English, memoirs are nothing but what? Memories. The memories of who? William Penn. Now, on page 140, it said the title of that book is the private life of William Penn, page 140.
Let me go ahead.
Go let me read. I feel like, hey, I graduated from college. Come on, what's going on?
Yeah,
you go ahead, got it. My bad, guy. You can read it. My bad. I mean, you did write it, so go ahead. Let me have any business.
Hey, this guy. What am I gonna do with this guy? All right, it says, okay, now this is what we are quoting William Penn. The natives, I shall consider their persons, languages, manners, customs, and governments. Their complexion is black, but by design, like the gypsies in England, and using no defense against the sun, their skin must be swarthy. So William Penn is telling you, he's an eyewitness, that the native Indians with their governments and customs were black. And then he tells you that the gypsies in England were what? Also black. That's cold, man.
Yep.
Hey, that's a speechless moment, as they call that crickets.
Yeah, mic drop.
So
you see, we got somebody agree right here. She say, please teach it. She say, teach it. I'm trying to
tell you. So the way we doing this tonight is we taking the white man's superheroes, all his gods, his so-called scholastic gods, and we showing them your God, your superheroes. They teaching what we teach.
This is what they say, right? We're lining up with what they say.
Hey man, how can you kick against a brother like William Penn? William Penn, he founded Philadelphia, Germantown. Hey, black Germantown.
And he was, you know what, bro? We just talked about him on Sunday. Not only did he, and how you says the natives I shall consider in their person, languages, manners, customs, and governments, their complexion is black, but their design, like the gypsies in England, and using no defense against their son, their skin must be swarthy. Not only did William Penn see that, I have other accounts of the William Penn. That's why I was waiting for you to get to the William Penn, because William Penn also in other documents we were reading on Sunday is not only saying that they're swarthy, but he's saying that the customs, when I read you heard we said this is manners and customs and languages, reminded him of Hebrew Israelites. I'm being honest. That's what the other documents are saying that William Penn is making a statement of. I could find it.
William Penn, see, but the thing that we didn't say is that William Penn was a German. He was a black German. Because
that right there makes
Benjamin
sense too.
Franklin said what? The Germans were what? They were swarthy. So
Yep.
Germantown back in them days was what? Nothing but black Germans running. I'm trying to tell y'all what's going on. We've been duped.
The Moravians.
That's what they don't want to hear. We've been duped, bro.
We got played. Man, you know what you know how I like to say it? We got played like a piano, on key and off key.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it, bro.
Hey, you know what though? You don't want to see. You got a lot of in this memoirs thing. Even though you gave us the three wise men to highlight, you got a lot of other people, like, you know what I mean, that you put in this bad boy, bro. I want to tell you something.
Yeah, but today the idea was to bring their scholars, to bring these three old timers to the forefront and let them speak from the grave. You know, right. The Bible talks about a story of a man that died, and when the man died, he woke up. He was in the lake of fire, and he told the Lord, he told Yeshua, he said, "Let me go back and warn my fathers and my brothers that they not come to this evil place." You know what Yeshua told him? He said, "Though one rose from the grave, they ain't gonna believe him."
Yeah,
you know,
I raised them three cats from the grave. Are y'all gonna believe them?
Yeah.
You're gonna see it's the exorcist going on around here or something. You know what I mean? No, this not only on that same page you just read from on 218, on right underneath it where you got the guy by the name of James Boswell, the author, and he's gonna talk about Thomas Jefferson. So he's still one of the three. He's talking about one of the wise men, right? That we want to talk about tonight, right? Can I read that part real quick?
Yeah,
you mind? Before you go on to the next part?
Go ahead.
All right. It says, accurate account, page 123. James Boswell, author, published 1785 to 1810. There was a great diversity in the faces of the circle around us. Some were as black and wild in their appearances as any American savages, whatever. This book brings us within 2 years of Paris Peace Treaty, which ended the American Revolution. This means that the Scotch/Irish, Thomas Jefferson's people, were still black in 1785. The author, James Boswell, 1785, states that the Europeans that he saw from Scotland were as black as any American Indian that he saw in the 13 colonies. How do you feel about the 12 Scots who signed the Declaration of Independence now? William Penn said that the Indians in the 13 colonies were as black as the gypsies in England. Benjamin Franklin said that the Europeans were as black, and that what else do I have to do to open your eyes? I could pause right there, because boy, let me tell you.
Shout out to that boy, man. Shout out to him.
I like that.
Boy,
That's
tell
what he
you.
did.
Hey, boy, that's a
eyewitness account.
Rush, you know what I mean? But check this out. What if I told y'all? Now, since hey, wait, first, are there any more questions?
Goddamn.
Oh yeah, I think we did. Let me check real quick.
Go ahead. Let's get back to the Q&A.
All right, hold on. So we say okay, yeah, go a good one right here.
With us. Okay.
So it say, so Spain and France came first. Were the British coming here strictly on business, or was there already relation to the Indians with the Scots and the Irish?
Hey, check this out, Daz. When King James you got to go back and that's why I keep telling y'all, make sure you take some time, read the original charters. In one of the charters, King James says the only intention for the plantations in North America was to teach Christianity to the natives. So when King James them showed up, they was on a missionary mission. They was preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
See, anybody that's preaching the gospel is not trying to enslave you, man.
And they couldn't. It wasn't possible
It's in the
from a
charter.
business or a military standpoint.
Right. It wasn't even business. It was church.
Yeah.
King James didn't want to have church.
Yeah.
The Catholics wanted to what? They wanted free labor. The King James didn't want they want to teach these people about Yeshua / Jesus.
Yeah, hold on. We got a super chat came through. Say from George Myers, much strength and love, my brother. Shout out to brother Lee. I got the whole series. This truth has changed my whole view on history. Keep it coming.
Hey, good shot, bro. Hey, man. Hey, stay on the wall, man. Hey, everybody out there, we all like spokes in the wheel. It take every spoke to make that wheel go around. Much love.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's it.
Yeah, well, I think we got another one just came in. Shout out to you though, George Myers.
So we brought in William Penn. We brought in Thomas Jefferson. Now, let me hit y'all with a look. Now, we all know that when our fathers revolted against King George sent the military to put the revolt down, right?
Yep.
King George sent, guess who he sent? And I want y'all to fact check me out there. He didn't send the British army. He sent the German Hessian army to put the revolt down in the 13 colonies. What color was the Germans?
Mm-hmm.
So who was it? Who was it that policed the 13 colonies? It was the Black Germans. I can prove this.
Yeah.
Boston was occupied by a Black German military for up to 8 years. I go back through my writings, and I can show you that each one of those colonies were occupied by Black German soldiers because the British paid the Germans to come in and put the revolt down, y'all.
Yeah.
So it was
Black German shooters
with British uniforms on.
Yeah. Oldest trick in the book.
That ain't cold.
That's how you do it. It's like they call it a cross. Yeah.
Your vocabulary. Is that me? Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, yeah.
It was Black German soldiers in British uniforms. So you see those British uniforms, those was Black Germans in them uniforms occupying a Black 13 colonies. All that history has been erased.
Yeah. Because it didn't fit the narrative of the new history they wanted to lay down to write themselves into power. That's why
the white boys in Texas and Georgia down in the South, that's why they so upset. I want to deviate for 15 seconds and 14 have passed. You like that? I just made that up.
Yeah.
You flighting right now.
Check this out. You know what Macron, the French president, you know what he said the other day? A week ago, he said, if we don't do something about Putin, Europe is going to die. That's not what he meant, though. What he meant was the Europeans, we are parasites. And since the host, Africa, has awakened and Africa is putting the European militaries out of Africa, we're about to die because the host is not going to allow the parasite to feed on it any longer.
And then it's over.
That's a real deviation from the conversation. But I want to show y'all, this is what they've been doing. The one sister, I think it was Daz, Dazelle, she said, well, how did they do it? If they beat your behind in Europe and took your property, what did they do when you came over here? They followed you across the lake. They followed you across the Atlantic. They said, we whooped them Negroes in Europe and took their land. Let's go over here and take it too.
Yep. They land better anyway.
So they took the land in Europe. We set up shop over here. We was doing business with other nations. They followed us across the Atlantic and took this from us. Y'all ain't hearing me.
No, I hear
you walking.
You know, they say on the block it's cold, but it's fair.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they got that one from, but that's what they say. It's cold, but it's
Yeah.
fair. All right, that's all I got, man. Unless y'all got something, I'm done. You can stick a fork in me.
Stick a fork in you like that. That's how you feel?
Yeah, because I got some curry chicken I'm working on. And it should be ready right
Oh,
now.
yeah. Yeah. Like clockwork.
Red beans and rice, man. I guess I call that a bowl of Superman. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I feel you.
Yeah.
We right on the head of the hour. What you got, Matt?
I got. Remember, I sent you a couple joints. If you want to close out
Videos?
with them joints, videos with
I got
William Penn's ancestor or descendant. You know what I mean?
Hold on, let me see. William
Penn. I think Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson.
I've been mixing them up. See, I had
so you sent me two. Right. You want the hold on, let me see. One of them was the descendant, and the other one was about his opinion on Negro. Which one you want to go with?
Well, before Lee go, we could let Lee at least watch probably the Negro one. I would like his opinion on the comments that the video has on.
Hold on, I think that's it.
Thomas Jefferson. Before we slide.
Is that
America is of course.
What you say, Lee?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Thomas Jefferson, who penned the Declaration of Independence and was a president of the United States, albeit a slave-owning president. And the only book that Thomas Jefferson ever penned was a book entitled Notes on the State of Virginia. It's a very interesting book that really dissects the state of Virginia, going through and talking about the exact description of the limits and boundaries of the state. In this book, Thomas Jefferson talks about the rivers and how far they are navigable. He talks about the best seaports of the state, how big they are, how big the vessels that they can receive. He talks about the mountains, the cascades, the caverns, the mines, the trees, the plants, the different kinds of fruits that are native to the state. He also talks about the number of inhabitants and the militia pay, the description of the Indians established in that state, and on and on and on. It's a fairly interesting read, and I would suggest that most Americans would benefit by reading at least part of the book, at least kind of skimming the book, and the book is available for free online. But what I want to do today is I want to just read you a couple of excerpts from a particular chapter known as the Administration of Justice and the Description of the Laws of Virginia. And we begin on this particular book that I am reading. The notes are Notes on the State of Virginia. This is page 132 in my book, but it all depends on which form of the book you have. But in this particular chapter, about halfway through, we're going to read as Thomas Jefferson tells us about the Negro slave in the early American colonies, particularly in the state of Virginia. And I begin. It will probably be asked, why not retain and incorporate the blacks into the state, and thus save the expense of supplying by importation of white settlers the vacancies they will leave? Deep-rooted prejudices entertained by the whites, 10,000 recollections by the blacks of the injuries they have sustained, new provocations, the real distinctions which nature has made, and many other circumstances will divide us into parties and produce convulsions which will probably never end but in the extermination of one or the other race. To these objections, which are political, may be added others, which are physical and moral. The first difference which strikes us is that of color. Whether the black of the Negro resides in the reticular membrane between the skin and the scarf skin, or in the scarf skin itself, whether it proceeds from the color of the blood, the color of the bile, or from that of some other secretion, the difference is fixed in nature and is as real as if its seat and cause were better known to us. And is this difference of no importance? Is it not the foundation of a greater or less share of beauty in the two races? Are not the fine mixtures of red and white the expressions of every passion by greater or less effusions of color in the one, preferable to that eternal monotony which reigns in the countenances, that immovable veil of black which covers the emotions of the other race? Add to these flowing hair, a more elegant symmetry of form, their own judgment in favor of the whites, declared by their preference of them as uniformly as is the preference of the orangutan for the black woman over those of his own species. The circumstance of superior beauty is thought worthy of attention in the propagation of our horses, dogs, and other domestic animals. Why not in that of man? Besides those of color, figure, and hair, there are other physical distinctions proving a difference of race. They, the blacks, have less hair on the face and body. They secrete less by the kidneys and are more by the glands of the skin, which gives them a very strong and disagreeable odor. This greater degree of transpiration renders them more tolerant of heat and less so of cold than the whites. Perhaps, too, a difference of structure in the pulmonary apparatus, which a late ingenious experimentalist has discovered to be the principal regulator of animal heat, may have disabled them from extricating, in the act of inspiration, so much of that fluid from the outer air, or obliged them in expiration to part with more of it. They, that is, the blacks, seem to require less sleep. A black, after hard labor through the day, will be induced by the slightest amusements to sit up until midnight or later, though knowing he must be out with the first dawn of the morning. They are at least as brave and more adventuresome. This may perhaps proceed from a want of forethought which prevents their seeing a danger till it be present. When present, they do not go through it with more coolness or steadiness than the whites. They, the blacks, are more ardent after their female, but love seems with them to be more an eager desire than a tender, delicate mixture of sentiment and sensation. Their griefs are transient, those numberless afflictions which render it doubtful whether heaven has given life to us in mercy or in wrath, are less felt and sooner forgotten with them. In general, their existence appears to participate more of sensation than reflection. To this must be ascribed their disposition to sleep when abstracted from their diversions and unemployed in labor. An animal whose body is at rest and who does not reflect must be disposed to sleep, of course. Comparing them, the blacks, by their faculties of memory, reason, and imagination, it appears to me that in memory they are equal to the whites, in reason much inferior, as I think one could scarcely be found capable of tracing and comprehending the investigations of Euclid, and in imagination they are dull, tasteless, and anomalous. It would be unfair to follow them to Africa for this investigation. We will consider them here, on the same stage with the whites, and where the facts are not apocryphal, on which a judgment is to be formed. It will be right to make great allowances for the difference of condition, of education, of conversation, of the sphere in which they move. Many millions of them have been brought to and born in America. Most of them, indeed, have been confined to tillage, to their own homes, and to their own society. Yet many have been so situated that they might have availed themselves of the conversation of their masters. Many have been brought up to the handicraft arts, and from that circumstance have always been associated with the whites. Some have been liberally educated, and all have lived in countries where the arts and sciences are cultivated to a considerable degree, and all have had before their eyes samples of the best work.
Monty, you there? That money. You heard that right there, Lee?
Yeah, I heard it. I don't understand what is
you try to slip it. They try to slip it in. All right. Well, the funny part is this last part where he got to this part about someone have been liberally educated and all have lived in countries where the arts and sciences are cultivated to a considerable degree. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, this is supposed to be from Thomas Jefferson, you know what I'm saying? One of the eyewitnesses. And it's just interesting that they, this is all the stuff that he's taking notes and saying about what he's seeing going on in the state jurisdiction of Virginia. We call it Virginia today. Right. So I just thought that it was interesting. I just wanted to play a little and get some of your thoughts about it.
I don't know
as far as what he's saying.
I don't know if you saw the original Declaration of Independence, like the original Declaration of Independence. I don't know if somebody could pull that up. You'll see where
it's on a page, right?
Huh?
Is it this book in your book, right?
It's somewhere
on
in the
page
book.
186.
Are you serious?
Show it again, Matt.
Page 186. Yeah. Now this original of he writes, he's complaining in the original Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson is complaining that King George is forcing an institution on them, an institution of slavery in 1752. And he said that the people have done nothing to them, and that this man is going to bring the blood on their hands. And so the fact that they was complaining that this dude was allowing slavery in 1752 into Georgia goes to show you what, that was not what they was about. See, the white historian is trying to put a spin on history, right, but you can't put a spin on it. It's just the evidence is too compelling that the original colonists did not like slavery. They had no part. It was forced on them.
Yeah, and they got this jacket put on them, like George Myers just put. They use slavery to cover all this up. They take away your Black European roots and your indigenous roots to America all in one story.
But the thing they don't say about Thomas Jefferson was his great grandfather was a Scot.
Mm-hmm.
So the Scots were black people. So what does that tell you about Thomas?
Yep.
That's the reason why when you see images of Thomas Jefferson is a freckled man. The eyewitness description of Thomas Jefferson is that he had sandy hair and he had freckles. What do freckles tell you genetically? They tell you that somebody black had been in your family. That black is starting. That's what freckles are.
Hey, shout out to George Myers for that love again, bro. And then we got she came back. She said, "Thank you for your time, Mr. Lee."
Hey man, listen, this is what we do. We need to be doing this on a bigger scale as a people. And the reason why is we got a lot of pretenders out there. You got these people running around here who pretending to be scholars. They out here pretending to know what they're talking about. This is the real deal right here. And this is what we need to start pushing. We need to push this like these other people pushing, like what's that dude's name? Billy Carson. Billy Carson. He's seeing aliens. Yeah. He's getting 1 million views for lying. Hey, maybe we should lie. I saw an alien.
In the 13 colonies. That's how we get them. We bring them in.
He's silly, dog. This man's silly, bro. He always got some jokes.
That's how they doing it. You know that, right?
Yeah, for real though. But we building though. We every time we do this, it get better and better. We got folks showing love. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to Swordfish, everybody who popped in today.
Yeah, for sure, man. We try to do this at least twice a month. Shout out to Lee. The Negro Question Series, Q&A. You here, so you in the chat now. You say you got some curry. He getting ready to leave us at any moment now. So if you ain't got a question, we out of here. No,
this is the thing. I want to make a statement. Listen, the Negro Question is offering a free history course and a free Hebrew course. And all you got to do is go to the bookstore, Negro Question, bookstore.equid.com. Leave your personal information. Call me. Leave your information. We'll let you know when the class is going to start. All you have to do to take this class, a lot of y'all still go to church. I don't know why you go, but you still go. I think you like to see I think they like to see James Brown when he slide across the stage with the smoke and everything. I don't know. Because they ain't teaching nothing, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, check this out. You go to church and hear the preacher say, "Why did the chicken cross the road?" That was his great thought of the day. He said because he had to get to the other side. Joel Osteen said that. But anyway, when you take my class, you don't even have to pay for it. All you have to do is, just like you give an offering every time you show up at church, just drop $5, $7, $2.50. Come on in the classroom. So that once I get 50 students, I'm gonna start the class. So hey, pass the word.
You heard that?
I hear first.
I'm gonna teach you how to read.
We've been trying for a year or so.
Teach you how to read, write. Teach you how to read, write, translate, and speak ancient Hebrew. You'll be on the elevator with white people, and they won't even know what you're talking about. I already tried. I did it as an experiment, and it worked. They was looking around and be like, "What is this Negro saying?" I started smiling. Yeah, would you like to know? But listen, I gotta go now. That
All right.
calling. It's
Yes,
calling.
sir.
Peace to you.
Lee,
Appreciate you,
come
Lee.
in. All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Peace.
peace to you, Lee, man. Shout out to Lee, man.
Shout
I
out to
hope
him,
y'all.
man.
I hope. Listen, matter of fact, though, I mean, I'm telling you, this series right here, I keep this book out for a reason.
Hold on,
man.
show it to him one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep this book out. I can't even put it away. I ain't gonna front.
Show him the back
you know
of
what I
it.
mean? You know what I mean? I ain't gonna even front to you. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, this last joint, he was talking about this actually. Right? All those names. You know, I've taken the time out to research these names on this joint. I'm trying to get it right for y'all, so y'all can see it yourself. Continental Congress artist John Trumbull. You know what I'm saying? You see how that look, right? So these people on this in this joint, I think people just need to really just American history, man. You said it before I came on, you know, you was doing that build earlier, that American history is important to us because, you know, I know we heard people argue about, you know, are we from out of Africa or are people all Indian? But then they forgot about that European who they call a colonizer. I guess nobody wants to be in the position of saying that their family colonized somebody else. You know what I mean? But we take that word colony out of position as if everybody of the colony of that area is in the position to colonize somebody else in the first place. You feel me, Monte? So people be romanticizing and traumatizing things to the full extent. You know what I'm saying? So get this book though. Everything the eyewitness accounts between this and ain't gonna front the parts he used in this.
Yeah.
You can go do your own research behind it. You ain't gotta take his word for it. Go do the research. That's what we did. No,
you're supposed to question everything.
You gotta question everything. You know what I'm saying? That's real, especially in this day and time. So again, we appreciate y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta tell everybody on Sunday, right? I said something.
Okay,
go ahead. I didn't see the schedule. I didn't see the schedule, Monte.
Oh, you gotta make a correction. Yeah.
I didn't see the schedule. Yeah, see, so this Sunday, we ain't gonna be live. We'll see y'all next Sunday after. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna watch the finals. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I won't
That's
go
big
front to nobody. I ain't gonna lie. It's at 8:00, and I know y'all gonna be watching the finals, so we gonna watch it too. And we'll see you obviously with the news.
Making an autonomous decision, man.
You're making an autonomous. We made a decision. We had to go ahead and make a call on it. Yeah, we gonna let y'all listen to some music and vibe. We gonna see y'all because it's 5 Sundays in June, so we taking one of them off. Let's keep you. We still gonna give y'all 4 in a month, so we taking this one off since it lands on a Sunday. Besides that, the harsh reality is live life autonomous. It's your boy Matt Gaither. Yeah, shout out to the party, shout out to the ministry, shout out to the social club, shout out to everybody in there. Like, subscribe, and share.
All that.
Go to the website, check us out. We got the marketplace. We doing some stuff, but we got some shit coming. Appreciate everybody. Peace.
Yes, sir. We out of here, man. Hold on. What did he say in the chat? He say, hold on. He say, Boston Celtics easy. Luka got to play defense. Hey, we gonna see, man. I'm going with the Mavericks, bro. I'm going with the
see y'all next, when we see y'all next, we're gonna talk about it. We ain't gonna even get into it, Dave.
Yeah.
All right,
you make sure you stay there and pull back up on us, man.
Yeah, we keep word on any of these topics, all right? And we're gonna see. I'm going with the Mavs too. I never liked the Celtics. I ain't gonna lie. But shout out to the Brown, my boy Brown though. I gotta get Brown.
I
I'm
like
biased,
him.
I'm it's a swarthy brother right there. Brown, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But outside of that, yo, peace, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace to the party.
Niggas, the top 5 lister, double S drifter, separate sipping, and you know I came with it if she cute with.
Yo. just feel my phone. Now she trying to get me through the day. And whenever I start to feel alone, I just play the voicemail that I say before things change. Now I read the message you sent, trying to tune out when you say I know you love me, boy.